Captain Zixathera of the Galactic Rescue Federation adjusted her mandibles nervously as her ship approached the debris field that had once been the human colony ship Endurance. The distress beacon had been broadcasting for 3 standard days, an eternity in the vacuum of space. Her crew of seasoned Kethmori rescuers prepared their equipment with practiced efficiency, expecting to find the usual aftermath of a catastrophic hull breach. Terrified survivors huddled in emergency pods, running low on oxygen and hope. Approaching. "The source of the beacon," announced Navigator Veltar, his forearms dancing across the control interface. "I'm detecting life signs, but they're unusual." "Elaborate," Zixathera clicked, her translator rendering the sounds into standard galactic. "The readings suggest the survivors have been active, moving around extensively. Some appear to be outside the wreckage in improvised EVA suits." Zixathera's compound eyes widened. No species she knew could survive that long in vacuum with makeshift equipment. Humans were known to be resourceful, but this seemed impossible. As they drew closer, the main viewer revealed a sight that defied all rescue protocols. The shattered hull of the Endurance had been transformed into something resembling a military installation. Pieces of debris formed defensive barriers, and what looked like weapon emplacements dotted the larger fragments. Small figures in patched spacesuits moved between the sections with purpose, connected by cables that sparkled with jury-rigged force fields. "By the 7 moons," whispered Chief Medical Officer Hindal. "They've fortified the wreckage." Before Zixathera could respond, her communications officer's crest flared bright yellow, the Kethmori equivalent of jumping in surprise. "Captain, we're being hailed. Audio only." "This is Colonel Sarah Martinez of the United Earth Colonial Marines. Galactic Rescue Vessel, identify yourself and state your intentions." Zixathera blinked in confusion. Marines? The colony ship manifest had listed only civilian families and agricultural specialists. "This is Captain Zixathera of the GRF Compassion. We received your distress beacon. We're here to rescue survivors." A pause. Then what sounded suspiciously like laughter. "Appreciate the offer, Captain, but we're doing just fine. Though if you've got any medical supplies and maybe some decent coffee, we'd be happy to trade." "Trade?" Zixathera looked around her bridge at the bewildered faces of her crew. Survivors of a catastrophic ship destruction didn't typically negotiate from a position of strength. "Colonel Martinez, our sensors indicate your vessel suffered complete structural failure. How many survivors require immediate evacuation?" "All 847 souls aboard are accounted for and secure, Captain. We've established a temporary habitat with life support, hydroponic bays, and defensive perimeters. Though I'll admit, the kids are getting a bit restless without their games." Veltar's arms moved frantically across his sensors. "Captain, I'm detecting energy signatures consistent with military-grade equipment, pulse rifles, barrier generators, even what appears to be a jury-rigged missile defense system." Zixathera felt a chill run through her exoskeleton. "Colonel, our records show the Endurance carried only civilian colonists. Can you explain the military hardware?" Another pause, longer this time. When Martinez spoke again, her voice carried a note of amusement. "Well, Captain, funny thing about civilians. See, we've been having some trouble with hegemony raiders in this sector. The Colonial Authority thought it might be wise to include a few folks with relevant experience on this particular voyage." "Relevant experience?" "Oh, you know. Former Special Forces operators who wanted to try farming. Ex-naval engineers looking for a quiet retirement. A few Marine veterans who thought teaching kids might be a nice change of pace. The humor in her voice was unmistakable now. Turns out old habits die hard when someone starts shooting at your family. Zixthera felt her world tilting. The hegemony raiders Martinez mentioned were the terror of this quadrant, slavers and pirates who showed no mercy. They'd been decimating shipping lanes for months, and even Galactic Navy patrols avoided engaging them without overwhelming force. "You engaged hegemony raiders?" she asked weakly. "Engaged and eliminated," Martinez replied cheerfully. "Turns out they weren't expecting much resistance from a helpless colony ship. Poor bastards probably thought they were going to have an easy payday. Instead, they found out why you don't mess with human families." On the main screen, Zixthara could now see the telltale debris of destroyed hegemony vessels scattered among the wreckage. Her tactical officer was frantically updating threat assessments, his normally calm demeanor cracking. The humans destroyed an entire hegemony fleet. "With a civilian vessel?" he stammered. "Former civilian vessel," Martinez corrected, somehow having heard the comment. "After the first attack, well, let's just say we made some modifications. Turned out we had a lot of talent aboard for that kind of work. Amazing what retired demolitions experts and ex-shipyard foremen can accomplish when they put their minds to it." Zixthara's rescue training had never covered this scenario. Protocol demanded she evacuate survivors immediately, but these humans weren't survivors in any conventional sense. They were victors, and apparently quite comfortable in their improvised fortress. "Colonel, while we admire your resourcefulness, surely you'd prefer the safety of our vessel while we arrange proper transport." "That's kind of you, Captain, but we're actually doing quite well here. We've got farms producing, workshops running, and the kids are getting a real education in practical engineering. Plus," her voice turned slightly harder, "we're keeping this sector clear of raiders. Consider it a public service." Zixthara stared at the transformed wreckage, where normal families had somehow become an unstoppable fortress in space. Children who should have been terrified refugees were apparently learning advanced combat engineering from parents who had retired from military service. Would you accept some supplies anyway?" she found herself asking. "As a gesture of goodwill?" "Coffee," Martinez said immediately. "Real coffee, not that synthetic stuff. And maybe some chocolate for the kids. Oh, and ammunition for the pulse rifles. We're running a bit low after the last batch of raiders." As her crew began transferring supplies to the floating fortress that had once been a civilian colony ship, Zixthara updated her mission report. Instead of successful evacuation of 847 survivors, she found herself writing, "First contact with human defensive installation. Humanitarian aid provided. Recommend avoiding this sector if engaged in piracy." She paused, then added a personal note. "Humans continue to defy all conventional understanding of the term civilian." The rescue mission had indeed found legends in disguise. Legends who were perfectly content to remain exactly where they were, thank you very much.